Hey guys, what's up? It's TDRP Cubing here, and today I have a very exciting 5-cube unboxing. These are all some very exciting cubes that I've been anticipating for months, so I definitely can't wait to try each of them out. And so for the first cube, we have got the MFJS Super RS3M 2022. I got the ball core version, so I definitely can't wait to try this thing out. As you can see, the cube came with some accessories, which include a couple of pamphlets, a screwdriver, an extra ball core, and a spring adjustment tool, as well as extra spring adjustment piece. Alrighty, so here the cube is, so let's get into first turns. Alright, it's definitely a bit locky, has a bit of a tactile feel, and I've actually already tried this cube out, but it was a setup version that someone at a competition let me try out, and this feels nearly exactly the same. And obviously this cube is a bit worse because it's not set up yet, but yeah, it feels exactly how I expected it to. And I have to say, the way it feels right now is pretty solid, but it's definitely not main or backup main worthy. I definitely think it has a lot of potential, but I may even prefer the last RS3M over this one. And so now let's go ahead and try out the spring adjustment system. So as you can see, it looks like everything is on the very first setting, so I'm going to go ahead and put all of them to the 4th setting. So let's begin. Alright, so now that the springs are all on the 4th setting, let's go ahead and try this thing out. Honestly, it's not really much better. In fact, I think this cube is actually a bit worse. So most likely after I record this video, I'll probably put it on the 2nd setting or the 1st, because right now this doesn't feel very good at all. Those locking up issues that I mentioned earlier are actually a bit worse with it on this setting. But yeah, the cube is definitely pretty okay so far, and so now I'm gonna go ahead and do a speed solve on it. Alright, so now that the cube's all scrambled up, I'm going to go ahead and do an inspection. Okay, and now I'm going to start in 3, 2, 1, go. Solve definitely didn't feel very good at all. Not entirely sure what that time was, but it definitely felt pretty bad, and part of that is on me, because I definitely didn't solve it very efficiently at all. And so yeah, as I said before, this cube is pretty okay, but that's all it really is. I definitely don't see this cube becoming a main or backup, but I do think it'll get better after setup. But yeah, let's go ahead and move on to the next cube. Alright, so heading on to the 2nd cube, we have got the X-Man Tornado version 3. This is the cube that Max Park just set the world record on a few days ago, so I'm very excited to try this thing out. I've definitely heard a lot of great things about this, and that it's better than the version 2. And that cube was a very close main contender for me when I got it, so I definitely can't wait to try this thing out. So let's go ahead and open it up. This is a very nice looking box and a pretty cool container. Looks like the cube came with some accessories, and those accessories are a couple of pamphlets, a business card, a cleaning cloth, this very nice looking cube bag, and some sort of setting tool. I'm not entirely sure how this thing works. Alright, so now that I've got the cube open, let's go ahead and try this thing out. Wow, this thing feels awesome right now. Got a pretty unique feel, and I forgot to mention, but I got the Pioneer version of this cube, which I'm pretty sure includes maglev, and I definitely think that's helping this cube out right now. Yeah, this thing turns great. So initial thoughts, so far this thing is definitely feeling a bit better than the version 2, and it's actually a pretty good backup main contender right now. It could also become my main, but I just have to set it up first. I'm definitely going to want to loosen the spring compression a little bit. I think that's the only thing holding it back right now. And so while we're on the topic, let's go ahead and try that out. I'm pretty sure it's a handheld system. And as you can see, it is. And what I'm pretty sure you do is just lift up the handle like so, and then you turn it. So since it's on the third setting, as you can see, I will go ahead and put it on the first setting. So let's go ahead and try that out. Alrighty, so now that we're on the final center, I want to go ahead and show you guys something I discovered. And that is, if you turn the centerpiece clockwise, I think it actually adjusts the tension, like this. Because as you can see, the number is not changing, but the position of this is. So that's a pretty cool feature if you ask me. Alrighty, and now all the pieces are on the first setting. Alright, so now that the spring compression is on the first setting, let's go ahead and try this thing out. That is definitely a lot better. It's actually a bit too loose right now, so I'll probably end up putting it on the second setting. But yeah, this cube is still really good so far. And so now I'm gonna go ahead and try out the magnet adjustment system. So as you can see, it is currently on the middle setting, so I will go ahead and put it on the strongest setting. So let's begin. Alright, so that definitely wasn't the easiest system to use, but it was pretty okay. So now that all the magnets are on the strongest setting, let's go ahead and try it out once again. Okay, I definitely like that more as well. It definitely makes up a little bit for the springs being a bit too loose, but I'll probably end up putting it back just one setting. But yeah, so far this cube is pretty promising. And so without further ado, let's go ahead and do a speed solve on this cube. Alright, so now that the cube is all scrambled up, I will go ahead and inspect it. And now we'll start the speed solve in 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, so that solve didn't feel very good either. I definitely think it was a better time than the first solve, but still not that good. But once again, that had to do with the solver and not the cube. And so yeah, so far, like I said, this cube is definitely really promising. And I wouldn't be surprised at all if this thing became a top main contender. I definitely can't wait to set this thing up. I feel like it'll be amazing. And so heading on to the final speed cube, we have got the predecessor to my current main, the Moyu Weilong WRM version 9. I haven't heard quite as much about this cube as I did the Tornado version 3, but I still can't wait to check it out. Alright, so it looks like this cube also came with some accessories, as well as another pretty cool cube box. And those accessories include a couple of pamphlets, an extra screwdriver, another spring compression tool, and an extra spring adjustment piece, and these two spacers. Alrighty, let's try this thing out. Alright. This cube is definitely very dry feeling and also a bit sandy. Out of the 3 3x3s I've tried so far, this is definitely the driest feeling one. And yeah, just like the Super RS3M, I have to say this cube is honestly failing to impress me right now. I did get the maglev version, so I definitely expect this thing to get a bit better after I set it up, but right now it doesn't feel very good. It's definitely got a lot of speed, but aside from that, there's not much else to say about it. And so now I'm gonna go ahead and try out the spring adjustment system. Alright, so just like the Super RS3M, this cube seems to be on the first setting, so I will go ahead and put it on the second setting. So let's begin. Alright, so now the spring compression is on the second setting. Let's go ahead and try this thing out. It's definitely a bit better. Still not great, but a sure improvement. It definitely feels a bit more tactile than the WRM 2021, and that probably has a bit to do with the plastic, as instead of having purple internals, it's just regular plastic. The cube does have purple internals, just not on the edges of these pieces, which I'm pretty sure the WRM 2021 does. And so yeah, now I'm gonna go ahead and scramble this cube up and do a speed solve. Alrighty, so now that the cube is all scrambled up, I'm gonna go ahead and inspect it. And begin in 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, that didn't feel too terrible, and I did mess up a little bit in that solve, but I feel like the cube also didn't help a whole lot either. And so yeah, like I said, this is a pretty okay cube, and of the three I just unboxed, it's either the worst or second worst. I mean, it's not bad or anything, but so far it's not great. I definitely expected more out of the predecessor to my current main, but yeah, we'll just have to see. I definitely think this thing will improve a lot after setup, but right now it's just a pretty decent speed cube. And so now for the first non-WCA puzzle, we have the Yushin 5x5 Pyraminx. I definitely can't wait to try this puzzle out. I've been wanting a 5x5 Pyraminx for quite a while now. Alright, here's the cube, so let's go ahead and do first turns. Alright, not bad. Since this cube was made by Yushin, this is definitely the type of turning I was expecting, which is not the best turning, but pretty decent, especially for a non-WCA puzzle. And here's the thing compared to my 4x4 Pyraminx, and as you can see, it's actually a bit smaller. That's definitely pretty interesting, as I actually thought this would be a bit of a bigger puzzle. But yeah, this cube looks really cool, and so now I'm gonna go ahead and scramble it up and try to solve it. Alright, so now this thing is all scrambled up, let's go ahead and try to solve. Alright, so honestly, I have no idea how to solve the rest of this puzzle, so I'm gonna go ahead and move on to the last one. This was definitely a fun cube to try and solve, and hopefully I'll figure it out once I'm done with this video. But yeah, like I said, this is a pretty cool puzzle. Alright, so moving on to the last and most exciting puzzle for this unboxing, we have the DianSheng Magnetic Gigaminx. This puzzle I'm for sure gonna try to speed solve, as it is literally a magnetic Gigaminx, and I definitely can't wait to try it out. So let's get into it. Looks like it came in a bag, and along with this really cool looking bag, the cube also came with a pretty big pamphlet. Alright, here it is. So let's get into first turns. Okay, it's definitely a bit locky, and of course it's already locked up right after I just said that. Okay. The magnet strength is definitely a bit strong, and overall it definitely feels like an improvement from the Shengshao Gigaminx, but it's actually not as good as I thought it would be. It's actually a bit small, as you can see, and if I go ahead and compare it to the Gigaminx, as you can see, it's definitely a bit smaller. But yeah, this is a pretty cool puzzle, and so now I'm gonna go ahead and scramble it up and try a solve. So let's go ahead and do that. Alright, so now that the cube is all scrambled up, let's go ahead and solve it. Alright, so that solve took about 17 to 18 minutes, and I would say I'm pretty satisfied with that. This is definitely a big step up from the Shengqiao Gigaminx, and I am really satisfied with this cube. And so with that being said, that's just about it. So that, guys, was the video. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you have any questions, then make sure to ask them down in the comments below. Besides that, have a good day and bye. See you next time.